Yo, so welcome to another edition of Not For Resale, and today's topic is going to be about dating in 2022. You know, proceeding up to 2022, we've seen like a dramatic change when it comes to dating. You know, what kind of avenues that precipitate dating. You got the web, applications like Tinder and Plenty of Fish. You got social media as well, which is like Instagram and Facebook. And all of that has really kind of cultivated a new method and a new kind of psychological approach to dating. So prior to that, it was, pretty straightforward how you would go to date. You'll go to a bar, you go to a club, you'll try and present your best case in terms of, coming there packaged, aka looking your best, nice trim, nice clothes, and really just, shooting your shot and seeing how that works. Now, for me, that was the approach that I was used to. But being in a long relationship and coming out of it, when I came out of it, everything changed. Like the whole dynamic of dating changed. So that's what I want to talk about. So what happened really was, with the rise of social media, you had a lot of women that had garnished a lot of attention from men. So, whether or not it was warranted, from pictures, that's another topic at hand. But in general, the average woman would garnish a lot more attention on social media than she would walking or living her day-to-day life. Like, going to work and you see a woman, even a well-presented woman, you don't see men approaching her and giving her a thumbs up as she continues to walk. Like, that doesn't happen. But that happens in social media, you see. So that creates like this almost false kind of perception of, well, not false, but it gives them more, of a confidence boost. And what I found with social media is there's a lot of trappings when it comes into it. There's a lot of magic tricks that happen with there. Like, you got a lot of filters, certain camera angles. You have to read in between the lines. Like, if I saw a woman who constantly had headshots but she didn't want to include her whole body, I was thinking, generally, women are quite braggadocious. Like, if they think something's lit, they're the first to show you. So if a woman's not showing you those things, maybe she's hiding something. She's not telling you the full story. Now, granted or not, what type of woman you're into is a different matter, but the whole point in case is you won't get a snapshot of who that person really is. You'll get a snapshot of who that person thinks they are. And you're not going into something you go into something with good faith, and then you find out it's not what you anticipate. It's not what you expected. So I found that to be the case a lot of the time when it came to dating in social media. And looking at it in 2022, is dating for men, it's a bad deal. Like, a lot of the women, they got a lot of control. A lot of the women, they have a lot of potential suitors, like online. Whether or not in person, that's a totally different story. But online, they would have a lot more suitors than the average man would have. And that really kind of like creates an imbalance, in the dating market. So where are we today? Like, for the average man, like, I'm from London, UK, originally coming from Hackney. So what you find is women are becoming less and less approachable. And like, for the average man, he's going to have a bit of an issue when it comes to dating a woman. Because what I noticed is, a lot of these women, they will use a man as a utility, as a come up. They will see a guy who's got some potential, but I'm just speaking in my experience. What they would see is, he's got the potential to make me come up. And when you like push them up to the next level, then they're looking for someone else, you see. So that's how that goes. So really, when it comes to dating for men, you're seeing this new kind of approach now where men are saying, well, hold on a second. It's two things, because I've heard it loads of times. The first is, I'm not putting a woman first. It's in a man's innate, in his kind of persona to put the woman first, to be her protector and provider. But that's all changing now, where men are saying, I'm putting myself first. Like, I'm not really interested in what she wants me to do. It's about whether or not she could help me in my journey. And you'll get a lot of women who won't subscribe to that. So as a consequence of that, men are going abroad. It's happening a lot in America, and that's picking up now in London, where you got groups like the Travel Bros or the Passport Bros, and they're going to different countries like Thailand, Colombia, Medellin, Brazil, and maybe DR, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and they're getting different results. For guys in like maybe the UK, they would probably go to their ethnic heritage path, like Nigeria or Jamaica, St. Lucia, where they could get a much better, much closer to what they expect a woman to be, and have a woman come into the relationship with good faith. Yeah, and that if you go to those other countries, yeah, those women would be looking to come up as well. But the thing is, they they wouldn't have these crazy demands on top of that, because a lot of women in the Western stratosphere, they're more interested in lifestyle. That comes with all of these kind of programs, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the Real Housewives of whatever county, and they're seeing these lifestyles of how these women approach things, and in their psychosis subliminally, that's how they want to get treated. So they wouldn't really they would look at a man who's saying, look, let's go for a coffee to get to know each other. No, they want like this Michelin star restaurant for the first date. That doesn't make sense. You don't even know the woman, but yet you're looking to drop some type of bag on the first date just to get to know her. So the price of entry is too high. And man's are saying, well, rather than do that, let me just use that money to go abroad for the long weekend. And I could easily find a woman just socializing and doing the normal norms, maybe even approaching the new approaches like Tinder, and that you'll get to meet women abroad, and you'll tackle things in that line. And that's where dating is in 2022. Like, the women, they expect a lot, but the men, there are some men that could provide their demands, but there's always a cachet to that. Like, the men that could provide, they're the type of men that women want, so they have a lot of options. So with that, you got no chance in hell of like that woman having a monogamous relationship with that guy. He's gonna have a variety of women, because they weren't around when he was on the come up, unless the only variation to that is if he met that woman when he was broke, or he was on the come up and she accepted him for that, and he came up and he's taken her with her. From there, that woman could ask the world. He would provide for her, no question, because the way men are in their mind, they look at things like loyalty. That is an extreme avenue of respect. Like, that woman was with you when you had nothing, so when you got something, you would respect that woman way more. But if a woman's coming into your life when you've got something, but she didn't give you a shot when you had nothing, you're going to use that woman as a utility. That, mark my words, that's how it works out. So that's one avenue of it. For the women, they're having their fun, but it all comes to a head. Like at my age, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of women, very beautiful women, that had the pick of the bunch. But now, all of that attention just suddenly drops, and you could slowly see the desperation when they're kind of reaching out to you, you know, like, but, you know, why am I gonna be with you? You got all these body counts on you, when I could find someone that's not as experienced as you, you know, and that would mean more to me as a man than finding a woman that's extremely experienced in all avenues of life. And me just trying to do something for her, it's not really appreciated because it's been done many times over before. So, you know, 2022, it's not looking too good for us, to be honest, guys. But there is an avenue out. You just have to use your mind. You have to make sure that you do things strategically before you do things based off emotion. And that's not just going to work. That's not going to work anymore. If you do, you're going to quickly find yourself between a rock and a hard place. Especially now, you know, where you clearly can see the government slowly issuing out crazy laws. You're seeing them in America. Like, I just saw one law where you have to pay child support. Well, they're debating it now, whether or not it's established if the kid is yours while she's, you know, pregnant, but she hasn't conceived yet. So can you just imagine that? Like, a woman's pregnant, you may or may not have slept with her, or if you did, you've taken precautions, but, you know, she just says you're the dad, and from that instance you're obligated to pay child support. That's not going to be a good thing, because that, you know, if that law comes into effect in America, me as a man, immediately I wouldn't be communicating with women in America. Like, I will just be hustling, making my money. When I'm ready, I'm going abroad. Like, and anyone who's got an ounce of sense, that's gonna be the strategy over there. And be sure, because I think the UK is like 2 years behind America when it comes to these sort of things. That's coming over here, or some variation or version of it. And as soon as that happens, that's the exact approach that I will take. I'll immediately stop dating women in the UK and be looking to take other, you know, options abroad, because there's just no way I'm gonna be, you know, kind of obligated with these kind of crazy weird laws. So it just doesn't make any sense. So in all honesty, going forward in 22, you have to have a strategy when it comes to dating. Not a strategy like, oh, you know, the amount of girls you want to sleep with. No, I'm talking about, you know, do I want that woman in my life? You know, what can that woman do for me? Can we build together? You know, those sort of things. Because if you're a man, you know what you could do for her from the jump, you know. But yeah, going forward now, you have to ask the question, what can that woman do for you also? You know, it has to be mutual. So that's where I see dating going in 2022 for men who are full orientated. They're going to be looking for other options. And I don't know what the repercussions is for the women, but yeah, that's how I see it. So till the next video, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks so much. Peace.